Okay, let's learn a little bit about the mixer. The mixer is organized into columns. You put your instrument into these plugs and you adjust the sound by turning these dials. And every dial is kind of like a sundial. It has a little line on it, all the way down or all the way up. Left is reduced, right is increased. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there's a little gray line that you can see really easy in real life. And when you're starting to set this thing up, I recommend that you set everything so that the little gray lines are pointing straight up. Not far left, not far right, but straight in the middle. These dials that are red, don't worry about them. They don't have any effect. I have them turned all the way. I'll just turn them all the way to the middle because it doesn't matter. So you want everything going to the middle, even these big guys on the bottom. Now, of course, if I'm operating in this channel and in this channel, it doesn't matter what these knobs are doing because these knobs only affect what's plugged in here. And these knobs affect what's plugged in here. And this guy on the bottom outside says main mix. He controls the master. So once you get a very nice balance between your headset and your iPod, then you're throwing that out to your main stereo. So now let's plug everything in. Your headset is going to get plugged in to the first row here. You're either going to plug it into there or there, depending on which connector you use. I'm sorry, you will always plug it in to there. The second one, the iPod, is going to go into this row, which is called 3, 4. And you want to plug it into these two bottom metal inputs. Don't mess around up here. Just these two. It says L and R, left and right. Okay, and then this thing has to get plugged into the power in the back. So let's start with the power. Here's the power supply. Has a big brick on it. You know how those look. This little end here, if you turn it, you'll see that there's a little embossed arrow in it, and the arrow should be up when you plug it in. So there, plugs in very nicely. Okay. AC power in. This goes into your wall or your power strip. Don't know if you can see it, but there's a little glowy light that's real easy to see in real life. It says power. Okay. Next thing, in your wireless headset, that box comes with a black wire, and the black wire has an end on it like this. So if you want, you can just plug that into your headset box like you normally do, and then the other end you plug in right there to that receiver in column number 1. It says mic or line in. Bang, plug it in there. And again, make sure that all of your dials are pointing up at 12 o'clock. Okay, the next bit is there are two wires that have the same connectors. They're just different lengths. I'll show you the smaller wire for convenience. These two ends and this end. You recognize that goes into your iPod or that goes into your laptop, into the headphone port of your laptop. And then these two guys go right in here. And again, use the two bottom inputs. Don't mess around up here. Okay? So the two in column number 3, 4. Alright. Next thing you need to do is find the biggest wire. And the biggest wire has these 4 connectors. So you take these two guys and you know where they go. They go into these chrome holes, but in the farthest all the way over here. It says main out. This is going to be your signal going out. This is a signal coming in. This is a signal coming in. It gets mixed and it goes out. These two guys get plugged into your stereo, and I recommend that you use the auxiliary input on the stereo. And of course, on the front of your stereo, you have to select auxiliary as the thing you want to listen to. Okay, So you get that all plugged in and get your dials set so that they're all pointing at 12 o'clock and start talking and turn on your music. And if the music's too loud, you want to turn the music down here. This is your sound, your main volume control for the music. This is your volume control for the headset. You can turn it up. You can also affect the tone. High frequency, middle frequency, low frequency. It's printed right there on the board. High, middle, low. If your headset is feeding back, meaning it's going wee, take the high on the headset and roll it back a little bit. Give it less sensitivity or less brightness. Towards the left, towards 9 o'clock. If you want to emphasize it, you go towards 3 o'clock. But I would think that if you get feedback, you may want to roll it back a little towards 9 o'clock. The high frequencies are what causes the feedback. Basically, all you need to do, you can play around with the frequency dials to make it, give it more bass, you know, or give it whatever. You can play around with it, but this is your level, meaning the relative volume level of your iPod, relative volume level of your headset, and the main mix. And when you're bumping the main mix, you're going to see these little lights blink, 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 blink. That's okay. As a guideline, you want to kind of see it hit the 0 often, and if it goes into 6 sporadically on the highs, that's great. You don't want it to be plugged all the way to the red because you're going to get distorted sound. That's all there is to it. Have fun.